Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper. So today's job is to do the oil change on the 23MT Lion Lathe. Now, we did a video a while back when I first got it and did the break-in, and I did an oil change and it didn't go as planned, and they never do. Adam Booth had the similar problem. Well, I remedied that since then, but now we're into the first of the next year of owning it. We're going to do another oil change, and I'm going to show you the upgrades I made, plus a few things I'm going to do to make life better for me in the long run. And what I have done since the last time I changed oil, well, since the last video, I've changed oil since then, but I added this. This is an adapter to go from the threads on the drain plug to pipe, and then went to hydraulic hose. And this is something we do on all of the railroad maintenance of way equipment I work on, is we add a hydraulic hose to the drain valve on everything so that we can position it in a place that we can drain the oil properly and cleanly. Now, this is ready to drain, and then the other thing I did was I have this little pipe that I made up with an adapter, and what I do is I screw that into my feed box, and then I insert a hose into it, a tube, to give me a vent, and then stick the funnel up on this end, and then it allows me to fill the feed box without issue. So let's go ahead and just drain this oil out. Yeah, that's draining nicely. There's just a little bit of a mess when you take the plug out. I went with JIC hydraulic fittings because I just like the way they seal up, and quite honestly, they're just cheap, easy to get, so it works out well. But I've never had a problem with them in low pressure applications on reusing them. So now we'll go ahead and we'll take the top cover off to get into the feed box, or the headstock, and we'll take a look at everything while it's draining and adjust the brake. Now, as you may remember, it's kind of a job getting in here. I got to take off the entire cover, plus disconnect an electrical fitting and a few other things. But it's really not that bad. I mean, I've gotten used to it. So just go ahead and get it all apart, opened up and ready to service.
Okay guys, I just had a camera failure. The microphone is not working again. So it's a brand new microphone, brand new everything. I just did a camera update on the GoPro though, and I'm thinking that might be what's causing it. I'll find out here at the end. But got the headstock open, just kind of wiped it out, cleaned it on top there, and everything looks good. I don't see any major issues. Everything's, you know, shifting and turning nice. I'm looking for any wear in the gears. Just everything looks clean, really. There's just a little bit of dirt down there, but now what I'm pointing to is the screws. You loosen those and then tighten the nuts there. That's for the brake bands, so I need to adjust the brake bands. And here's a little closer look of everything. Those two bands there, the forward and reverse clutch brake. So when you release the clutch, it breaks the spindle. And like I said, everything looks really clean in there. That is the oil pump. So it's a pretty good sized oil pump, feeds oil to every part of the headstock, and it's a pretty good volume of oil moving through this thing. Alright, so you just got a little trickle of oil yet. It's coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the lock bolt that doesn't allow it to, you know, that locks that so it doesn't adjust while it's moving or running, and just tighten it up a little bit. And then here I'm just actuating the clutch, make sure everything's proper where it needs to be. and then turn it. I'm just feeling for friction. It's all about feel with setting these clutches is what I kind of came up with, is because the book isn't very straightforward on how to set them. There's no, measurements with a feeler gauge. There's nothing. It's just kind of all by feel and trying to get them exactly the same. And that's the challenge here, is getting them just right. But being in an oil bath, they last quite a while. They hold up really well. It's just like a wet clutch on a motorcycle. Being in an oil bath, they last forever. And see, this is in high gear, so I've got a lot of torque going back, so I can turn it easy. But if I drop it into a lower gear, it will get very hard to turn. In fact, here I'm going to put in a low gear. Yeah, see there, I can't even turn it with the chuck. And I think this is the mid, no, that's high range again. So one thing that I'm going to do here, and somebody had suggested this the last oil change I did, was a rare earth magnet. Now these I thought was a great idea, and I just ordered them, and I'm going to put one in right where you see that oil line there, where my hand is. That's the sight glass for the flow. I'm going to put one directly below that, because as the oil comes back out of the glass and runs down the side of the box, it should catch anything that comes through the oil pump. And then I've got 2 more of these that I'm going to put in there in different places, just to catch anything. And then when I change oil next time, I can actually get a good idea of what I've got going on in there. So somebody suggested that in the oil change video I did last year, and I thought it was an amazingly great idea. So I definitely wanted to do that. Yeah, see them things, they grab. There's a lot of power in these little magnets. I think they were rated at like 60 pounds of pull. But I'm going to put that second one down in the bottom of the sump, just down in the corner. That's close to where the oil pickup is. So try to catch it anywhere that the oil is, where it's pulling the oil from. So it might catch some filings there too. And then I'm just trying to figure out where to put the third one. So I'll see if I can get my fat hand down in there and place that thing right in the very bottom, right next to that oil pickup. Like I said, these things, they grab hard and they do not come out easy. So once you get them in there, they're pretty much there. I tried to get the one of them, I stuck it in the spot I didn't want it, and I tried getting it back off, and I had a heck of a time. So we're done draining the headstock and just putting the plug back in. Again, this was such a good idea, putting these hoses on there. It just made life so much easier. And I'll move the bucket over and we'll open up the feed box. And you just get a little bit of oil on you. It's so much better than the last go around, where oil was everywhere. I had it on the floor, I had it under the machine, just everywhere. It was pretty miserable. And I'm going to grab the wrench here and take the plug out, the fill plug, so that it can vent. Because these feed boxes do not have a vent that I found, which kind of stinks. And that oil looks pretty clean for the amount of time it ran. So, but I want to stay ahead of it. This lathe has to last me quite a while. I mean, I got a huge investment in this thing, and I've been very happy with it. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and pour in the new oil. This calls for a 32 weight hydraulic oil. Basically, it's a Shell Tellus 32, and it holds right around 2.5 gallons, and that's about what I got in my jug there. I got another bucket, and so what I'm pointing at there is a fill plug. You do not have to take the top cover off to change the oil. You just swing the electrical cabinet out of the way, and there's a fill plug. But I do not like just changing oil without inspecting. Opening this up and just checking everything out is definitely a smart thing to do. So put on the splash guard. That goes under the inner cover. There's no seal on this top cover, so it just uses that splash guard to hold it in there. And that cover is extremely heavy, but it's not that bad. The problem is I've got a bad case of tennis elbow in my right arm right now, so I'm really fighting to lift things, and I've been struggling with that for a while. It's getting better, but it's been a process, a painful process. So get all the bolts in, and then I'll just start tightening them up in a rotating pattern. As you can see, I'm not torquing them very tight. Really don't need to be super tight, just enough to hold it down. And that little electrical box you see up on top, I still had to connect that, which I did before putting the top cover back on. And a lot of you have commented on how I would take that thing off and throw it away and get it out of there. And I actually like it because it keeps the coolant from flying everywhere. Not all of it, but a good portion of it. So it's really keeping the coolant more in the machine, and the chips from really flying when I'm doing close to the chuck work, and it just helps a lot. So it's going to stay. I don't mind it. So we'll go ahead and put the plug back in, and then I made an adapter for filling this, and you'll see that here just in a minute once I get this tight. So here it is. It's a piece of pipe I bent, schedule 40 half inch, and then there's the adapter again. That's an M16 by 1.5 adapter to half inch NPT, and then I stick that little hose in there. That is my vent. So once I put that on the machine and then I attach a funnel, that will allow the air to vent out but the oil to get in. So as you can see here, and it didn't work the greatest. I'm gonna try to come up with a better solution next time. This was the solution that I just made. I didn't make this last time, but yeah, I filled it over the thing. We'll see how it works, but it worked actually pretty well. It did go better, and once I got a little pressure in the box from adding oil, it definitely started working way better. So as you can see here, it's starting to vent because there was a little bit of pressure buildup inside the feed box. Just not the airflow I had expected, but I think maybe I need to go with a longer tube in the box and out of the funnel just to get further away from the oil all around, and that'll probably cure that. So she's all full. We pull the tube back out just like a catheter. My wife's an RN, so I know all about those things. I get to hear the stories. And I'm just setting that over to drain it out, and then I'll pull my tube off here and set that over to drain that out too, and we'll go ahead and seal her back up, put the plug in it. Again, I apologize for the audio problems I've been having. It's just been one thing after another. I think it was all because of an update on the GoPro, and I'm thinking that I've got another GoPro and another media mod, so I might try changing stuff out, and it just changed settings on me, so it was weird. I don't understand what's going on, but I'm not tech savvy at all. I hate computers and I hate electronics, and so struggling through this, but I hope you guys enjoy and you'll learn something from this.
All right, let's fire it up and see if it works. Oh, and there we got our oil. So she's pumping good. All right, let's run it through the gears a little bit and see how it does. This is 500 RPM. Much better. That's how it should be braking. And we'll shift it down to that range. We'll go down to 16 RPM. Almost instant. And this is 125. Nice. Much better. Well, that oil change went really well with the additions and adaptations I made to the lathe. Just a great setup now. I think the magnets in the headstock will really help. We'll see what happens the next oil change, and I'll probably do a video then just out of curiosity what we pull out of the oil. But that oil looked really good that came out. Nothing, I didn't see any wear. Everything looked good. And as far as my audio problem, you know, I had to do the voiceover for that section of the video where I lost the audio, and I don't know why. But brand new microphone, you know, it's been working good. I'm almost wondering if I'm having problems with my camera because I went into the settings and it had changed the microphone settings on me from, you know, earlier in the day to now. So I don't know, I just found that and we're shooting the ending. So I'm still working through some bugs. I have another GoPro here that I can try and another media mod I can try, and I've got another camera coming yet. So we're making upgrades to all the camera stuff and trying to find the problems and work through them. But anyway, there it is. Brakes adjusted, oil changed, all good to go. So until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.